Hey guys, I'm Slave to the Games here with part 2 of the Cyberpunk 2077 full in-depth explanation series where I go over everything, and I mean everything about and surrounding the game itself up to release. As I mentioned before, I have gone over 70 articles, more than a few forums, watched the Cyberpunk 2077 videos the company provided, and much more, accumulating over a couple nights straight of hard research. If you find out more info in forums, sites, and other YouTube videos, etc. that is not, and I repeat, that is not in this video or my other ones, please share that information in a comment below. My goal is that you learn at least 3 things from each video in this format that I make. If you enjoy the video, the info I share, or if you just want to support me, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, drop in my Discord community below, and maybe, just maybe, click that Patreon link to take the extra mile in supporting me in what I do. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and let's once again dive right in. The first thing we're going to go over is abilities and skills. Advertisements you see in the world can show you quests or tell you where to find your nearest vending machine, all thanks to the game's UI, which is run by an OS, cybernetic augmentations that let you slow down time, identify weak points, double jump, and other superhuman techniques. On a side subject of this is the confirmed skills, but one tidbit before we go in there, and that's there's more than 20 perks apparently in the game. This is a, let's say, loose change. We don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but I'm leaning on the side that it is pretty damn close. The confirmed skills that I do know of right now are body, intelligence, reflexes, tech, cool, and then the first one is body. Apparently, it appears to be a combination of strength and constitution. Previously, these were both separated. Intelligence determines characters' problem-solving skill and getting information. Reflexes determines characters' agility and other skills like running, driving, and combat skills, or techniques. Tech determines the character's ability to use different items like weapons or gadgets. Cool determines characters' resistance against fear, stress, physical pain, or torture. It also seems to relate to the character's charisma by giving off an air of respect or authority. Throughout the game, you'll earn perk points that you can spend on a number of skill categories. These categories include blades, rifles, handguns, assassination, engineering, hacking, athletics, and more. Perks will let improve your effectiveness with various weapon types, unlock new abilities, or merely allow you to equip new weapons. And now into the next category, which is implants. Cyberpunk 2077 will let you install plenty of cybernetic implants, granting all kinds of specialized improvements and new abilities, just as you'd want from a game in this setting. There may be consequences for that though. There's a concept called cyberpsychosis, where installing too many cybernetic mods leads to a deteriorating mental state, all the way until you start suffering from violent psychosis. The resulting cyberpsychosis essentially drops all humanity, driven only by murderous rage, kinda like Bloodlines 1 and 2. Cyberpsychosis will be a part of Cyberpunk 2077's story among the NPCs you meet, but the developers haven't yet decided whether you'll be affected by the penalties yourself, such as a bad ending, depending on how many mods you've installed yourself or implants you've installed, or something along the lines of Bloodlines where you lose your character's control. Optical implants can be used to scan for entrances and access points and more. This should help you out if there are any missions in the game that ask you to track people across the city or to infiltrate certain buildings. As well as their role the citizen has in this dystopian future, the implant shows what level the person is too. If enemies are connected together by a network though, a bunch of new options open up. Like in one instance, V hacked one enemy's gun to make it stop working without him realizing, and the others connected to the same network had their guns jam as well. Ripjaws will also let us suit up with illegal military-grade tech. Sometimes the cyberware you can install is going to be gated by V's stats or skills. The implants as of this moment are the Mantis Blades, Kirishima Optical Implant or the Optical Implant, Subdermal Grip, Translator Implant Champ, Smart Gun Targeting Link, Biomonitor, Cyberdeck, Real Skin, Gorilla Arms, Cyberlegs, and the Hand Cannon. The Mantis Blades are a bladed weapon implant that extends from the forearm, giving the player both melee weapons and wall scaling utility. Kirishima Optical Implant or the Optical Implant is an eye implant that allows V to zoom in on objects and scan them to obtain information on NPC, machine, and vehicle targets like threat level, damage resistances, and gang affiliations. This is a mandatory piece of cyberware and works in a way where key hidden details can become known to the player. The Subdermal Grip, an enhancement of V's hand that increases the damage done with locked weapons. It also increases melee damage done by V and makes ammo counters available for V in her HUD. The Translator Implant Chip allows for instant language translation of foreign languages to English, though we are not sure if this is going to make it into the game when it's fully complete or not. I personally think that would be awesome. Now the smart gun targeting link. In order to use smart guns, you will need a specific connection to the gun via a piece of cyberware that will unlock the ability to use the targeting system. This will multi-highlight enemies so that bullets track them. The targeting system itself is from an eye augment. That is what unlocks the bullet tracking. How efficient it is at tracking is based on the weapon. The biomonitor, which is the monitor installed in the Woman V rescues in the 2018 E3 trailer, it provides a real-time readout of common body functions like heart rate, blood pressure, blood chemistry, brainwave activity, temperature, cholesterol levels, and a number of other bodily functions. The Cyberdeck is used to install chips and software through a small plug on the base of the neck. Allows for tools such as the Flathead or Daemons, which can hack into enemies, blind them, disable their weapons, or turn their cyberware against them, to be used. Cyberdecks often use interface plugs to allow users to gain access to networks more quickly. Real Skin is a synthetic skin designed to cover cybernetic implants. That's basically it. Gorilla Arms, well, it could only be installed on a character with enough stat and body. However, once installed, it allows V to rip open locked doors and pick up heavy objects, like a machine gun turret. Cyber Legs, they give her or him or they the ability to double jump, hover jump, wall run, and etc. With the correct implant, they can also improve V's ability to move stealthily. And finally, the hand cannon. Well, it's described as a gun that is installed into V's forearm, though not much more is known more about it other than a few pictures and, well, tidbits around there, so we'll keep that as a maybe. And now we're on combat. Combat is gun-based, but there are loads of skills that can change it. A slow motion bullet time skill, wall running, a slide, and so on. There's a ricochet targeting system that allows you to bounce bullets off walls and see where they'll go in advance. Drug taking is a big part of the game. You take drugs such as the reflex boosting Koresnikov to enhance your performance via an asthma pump-like device. You don't have a party or anything like that either. Although other characters might join you for quests in-game, that doesn't mean you can just drag people around you wherever you go. Numbers pop out of enemies. A lot of your combat potential will be decided by which implants and augmentations you have equipped. Even though there's a big focus on gunplay, aiming down sights, real-time movement, taking cover, and shooting through thin walls have all been emphasized. Enemies will have discrete power levels and guns will have their own rarity and attributes. You'll be able to take different lethal and non-lethal approaches to complete missions. You'll be able to hack into enemies and locations in order to glean information and manipulate things. But because of the game's emphasis on personal cybernetic body modifications, you can also be hacked yourself. There will be a heavy emphasis on hacking drones and robots, which you can do to avoid combat scenarios and get a leg up on your enemies. Bionic arms let you rip off doors and detach turrets, and there will be varied combat styles with a variety of weapons, from katanas to sledgehammers to whip-like nanowires. Players can single out particular limbs, chopping at arms with a katana via the dismemberment system. You approach an enemy tactically and switch up your weapons based on their defenses. Weaknesses discovered by V's scanner or skill set. Enemies have large amounts of abilities whose archetype are largely based on cyberware. Just about everything you can do is able to be done by at least some NPCs. You can jack into computer systems to find additional information about your mission or NPCs, well, pretty much think Deus Ex. Upload viruses into enemies to cause them to commit suicide, and hijack cameras for a bit of watchdogs like remote hacking. On to weapons. You can use mods to customize all the weapons in the game. There are 4 damage types: physical, thermal, EMP, and chemical. Players will be able to choose between modern day power weapons, which are similar to modern day ballistic weapons. There are also futuristic tech weapons which can penetrate through walls, and unfortunate NPCs. The player's skills do not affect the smart weapon technology at all. It's all based on the gun. The third and final weapon type is smart weapons, which can be used to track enemies. Guns have different perks as well. When using a gun or other weapons, V will gain proficiency with them. Higher proficiency in a weapon not only increases the accuracy and reload speed of a weapon, for example, but it will also change V's animation when using said weapon to show the expertise with it. Nanowires are a set of strings attached to wires that can be used to strangle people silently. Players who focus on hacking can also use the nanowires as a long-distance cable to hack into systems and even upload malware into enemies to make them destroy themselves. There's a very robust crafting system in Cyberpunk 2077 as well. Gears such as weapons can be altered into 2 different ways. 1, an appearance with various skins, and 2, mechanically to change or upgrade the abilities and stats of equipment. Weapons include, but are not limited to, the Mantis Blade, the Vindicator, a fully automatic pistol that has a ricochet targeting system available for upgrade later in the game, Budget Arms, the Blunderbuss, a tech-grade shotgun, Kang Tao Type 41, a smart assault rifle allowing bullets to track and follow their target, Militech PDU-5 mine, a shrapnel-based anti-personal explosive produced introduced by Militech, the mines are first encountered in the Maelstrom Gang's all-food plant hideout. Electromagnetic Katana, a katana capable of emitting a magnetic field that deflects bullets. Nanowire, a glowing orange thread that acts like a whip, can also be used to cut, strangle, or even hack into enemies. And then finally, hammers, knives, glass bottles, heavy guns, light machine guns, revolvers, sniper rifles have all also been mentioned as well, though to the extent of how many weapons there are going to be, this is all I have for now. Let's talk about the full destructive system now. The game will have a destructive system that is strongly tied to the tech weapon classes, and while players will not be able to destroy everything in the game, they can actually damage certain things like windows or even people's limbs. At least some of the walls and other objects in the game are destructible with high caliber rounds piercing through sheetrock and explosives, leaving gaping holes, clearly exposing enemies on the other side. You can blow off arms or legs strategically as well, like I've mentioned before. The UI interface and field of view. The game is played in first person. For those who intend to customize the user interface, which is powered by the operating system, they need to buy an upgrade. The ad display you encounter during travel can allow you to download the quest line. HUD elements, including damage numbers, can be turned off. V's interface was organized into 7 sections in the 2018 demo: Codex, Quests, Biomonitor, Inventory, GPS, Crafting, and Social. The game world pauses while V browses her inventory and the user interface most of the time, but there are times when inventory changes happen in real time in the game, such as when V has new cyberware installed. There's also an inspection system within the inventory that lets you learn about objects, lore, and other useful information. I'm sure this is something you guys are curious about, and that's the attire. There's going to be loads of benefit to gearing up with designer clothes and jackets. They can boost elemental resistances, physical, thermal, EMP, and chemical are all on the list, as well as providing bonuses to the street cred stat. With higher street cred, V is expected to be able to access more areas, vendors, NPCs, and quests. V can only carry a certain weight and has a total of 8 clothing items / slots at her disposal. The ones that have so far been identified include shoes, pants, jackets, t-shirts, and cyber decks. So vehicles, guys. You can drive vehicles in both first and third person. There's also motorbikes and armor-plated cars. The player character being able to lean out of the car and shoot enemies while the AI companion drives the car is one form of the vehicular combat that you actually go into as you travel around, and you will also be able to steal cars. There are hundreds of cars, bikes, and other types of vehicles, apparently. If you come to an NPC standing out on the side of the street and look at them, a prompt may appear and you can participate in a normal dialogue with the NPC without even getting out of or off your vehicle. But if you decide to forego driving, there are other options in Night City, including taxis and Endcart, the city's light rail service. Most public transportation services are handled by automated vehicles. These trains and buses are practically entities in their own right, able to communicate with each other and learn in order to improve efficiency. Once you pick a vehicle, it will serve as your primary vehicle. That vehicle can be called to your destination at any time. Once you find a sweet ride, you can access it anywhere. You can customize your vehicle as well, but to what extent, I'm not sure. Cyberspace, everybody. It's pretty much like the Matrix. I mean, that's exactly it. Cyberspace is a dark, dangerous place that you connect to while in a bathtub. It's going to be an important part of the game, and that's it. No, seriously, that's it. Let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about AI. Sophisticated crowds in AI will populate the streets and businesses, with some NPCs having their own regular routines throughout the days and nights. We've heard this before in plenty of other games, but hopefully in this one it actually, works. Outside of routines, random encounters will occur in the open world, and these will, in some respect, be informed by decisions you make throughout the game. Decide to provoke a faction as part of a story mission, for example, and they'll seek to provoke you back when you least expect it. Some NPCs will also be assigned a class, though these are separate from player classes, and classes are often tied into the NPC's occupation, as I think I mentioned before earlier. Stealth category. There's a full stealth system for you to take advantage of. You can use skills to remotely distract, incapacitate, and disrupt enemies, or you can get in close for stealth takedowns with a variety of melee weapons and even your own 2 fists. Also, we have seen prompts showing options for picking up body or to take. Most melee weapons in Cyberpunk can be used in a non-lethal way. You're able to knock NPCs down, choke them, and more. You can even in some cases use the environment to use a stealth takedown. And now let's talk about consumables, including but are not limited to reflex boosters, health boosters, Cirrus Nix or Cyrus Nix, juice, and Dum Dum's controlled substance. Reflex boosters are inhaler-based pharmaceuticals you can use that give you temporary access to specific abilities, such as the Kolesnikov ability, which acts as a sort of bullet time effect. Health boosters are inhaler-based pharmaceuticals that restore health over time. The Cirrus Nix or Cyrus Nix is a drink that you can consume to restore a small amount of health over time. juice is a steroid-like pharmaceutical. It is, as of this moment, unknown if this consumable will be available for you specifically. Dum Dum's controlled substance is an inhaler you take in the E3 2077 or 2077 demo. We are going to be able to restore our health using consumables like food and the drug inhaler as well, like I said. Some healing items will have an instant healing effect, while others will just slowly restore over time or work only in specific circumstances. There is also cyberware that provides health regeneration. However, it will take a spot that could potentially be used for different types of cyberware. And now we enter the last category before we get into the bonus information, which, to be granted, is actually a lot longer than this category, and that's DLC. We can expect no less than The Witcher 3 in terms of DLC types and quality, at least if what is being promised to us comes out to be true. Cyberpunk 2077 is also expected to receive multiple DLC packs according to the game's UI coordinator, Alvin Liu. That will expand on the game's base story. These will most likely be expansions and free content added. And as I'm sure you guys know by now after watching, if you've watched the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 one and the first part of Cyberpunk full in-depth explanation series, bonus information guys, and I'm just going to list it right off for you. It's going to be available for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. That is what I know confirmed. Cyberpunk 2077's release date is September 17th, 2020. There's going to be a Cyberpunk 2077 photo mode. The standard edition will set you back at $60. Digital standard edition, well, your bonuses for pre-ordering the game are a soundtrack, Cyberpunk 2020 sourcebook, the key to playing the original tabletop game, an art booklet, and wallpapers for desktop and mobile. The development company behind The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is the one working on Cyberpunk 2077 if you already, for some reason, do not know this fact, yet I believe everybody under the sun does, but just in case. Euro, dollar, or eddies is the form of currency in this game. There's also going to be a field of view slider. CDPR is also working on customizable voices for V, though there's no surefire promises that this will carry into the final game. It's going to feature real, full-time ray tracing support via RTX technology. A non-lethal approach will not always lead to a good outcome just because you decided not to kill anyone. V wears a special jacket that plays an important role in the game. Whether this is just implying the fact of the physical resistances that I mentioned earlier, or maybe the jacket actually has some tie to the story, who knows? We'll find that out though. The hardcore mode will disable the user's interface completely. Also keep in mind, leave a comment below if you want to see me play that in hardcore or something else, because I'm seriously considering it. I'm a masochist for games. There's an in-game radio that players can adjust based on their music preferences. Multiplayer for Cyberpunk 2077 will likely release sometime after 2021. You can interact with the advertisements, which can tell you where to buy certain products. Cyberpunk 2077 will include several different mini-games like robot fist fighting. Cyberpunk 2077 has an inspection system that lets you learn about objects, lore, and other useful information. You can use this system to link with a spider-like bot, which can scope out environments, climb walls, pass through vents, and be stored in the trunk of your car when not in use. Based on the demo, it looks like there's going to be some kind of robot pet or pets. You can also hack doors, terminals, trains, and more. Also soda machines. Basically everything that has a wire or a plug. Alt Cunningham from the Cyberpunk universe will also have a role to play. In fact, she's the first character to completely digitalize herself by uploading her consciousness into cyberspace. There will be equipment and chip slots. The game's day and night cycle will have an impact on quests. At certain times of day, for example, a location may be more or less guarded, which could impact your likelihood of success. Weather, though, won't have an impact quite as severe, although in-game characters will react to it. Acid rain and other environmental hazards are definitely in the game. Some story scenes might also change depending on the time of day they are taking place. The game's crime system has been revealed as being similarly dynamic. So police won't jump on you for a small crime like, say, assaulting a particular individual, but they will absolutely try to fry your ass for more extreme things like causing harm to large groups of people with a gun or vehicle. Apart from looting and mission rewards, you will be able to craft gear like weapons and gadgets. Many people speak different languages like Japanese, and you'll need a special augmentation functioning as a language translator that I mentioned before so you can understand them. Though, as I said, this might not make it into the game, though I really hope it does. That sounds cool. Some augmentations, as I briefly went over earlier, are going to be mandatory, and you're not going to be able to be a complete purist. You won't be able to say no to every single implant. You will have to take a certain number. What that number is, I don't know right now. There will be a new Game Plus mode. Net running in local networks will be represented by a hacking minigame, and the game world slows down for such actions, so you can hack something safer. Currently, hacking takes about 30 to 45 seconds to complete on average. There are some NPCs V is not going to be able to harm, and guess what guys? This includes children and characters essential to the future story beats, like we would have expected. And that's all, everybody. It's time to shamelessly self-promote, liking, and subbing to my channel. Join my Discord with the link below, possibly walking that extra mile and showing me just how much more you want to support me and what I do by becoming a Patreon member of any tier with the link below as well. Thank you all for watching. I hope you not only enjoyed this video, but learned something as well. Remember, I stream every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and with that, catch you all later. I hope you enjoyed the video.